You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, YNR fans. Well, it's another week of insanity with Phyllis Summers and Summer Newman running amok, making unreasonable demands, and jumping to conclusions. Phyllis interfering has Summer in a place where she needs to check herself before she wrecks herself, and we're going to dive into 5 ways Phyllis is ruining her daughter's life again and again. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's get our hands dirty and talk about it. So, Summer Newman is trying to steal sole custody of Kyle Abbott's child, his son that he allowed Summer to adopt while Harrison's bio mom, Tara Locke, is in prison. Now, I was not too keen on Tara when she was on Young and the Restless, but right now, I'd actually like to see her out of jail, marching into Genoa City to undo this bizarre and improbable Italian adoption and just shut Summer down. But until that happens, we're looking at Kyle Abbott ready to battle it out in court because Summer Newman is making unreasonable demands and slapping him with strange ultimatums. And as usual, it is Phyllis who is prodding Summer to go about this the wrong way. So just number 1, the first way Phyllis is ruining Summer's life is encouraging a custody battle at all. Last week, Summer demanded Kyle cut Audra Charles completely out of his life. And if you recall, it was Phyllis that started spilling poison into Summer's ear about Audra. If I recall correctly, she called Audra dangerous, and I think she used the word a threat to Harrison. That's nuts because, first of all, Audra's never even met the kid. But Phyllis, let's talk about a woman who's actually dangerous. Red ran down Paul Williams for trying to kill Cricket. And let's not forget Phyllis drugged and raped Danny Romalotti. Phyllis kidnapped Michael Baldwin. She's engaged in blackmail and hacking and every number of shady deeds. Meanwhile, Audra is a strong businesswoman who slept with Kyle after he dumped Summer. That's not dangerous. It's not criminal. Yet Phyllis is ruining Summer's life by using Audra to prod her daughter into demanding sole custody of Harrison. It's a bad move. Number 2, Phyllis is also ruining Summer's life by deliberately driving wedges between Harrison and his Abbott family. This week, Phyllis runs into Harrison having a great time in the park with his grandpa Jack, and Phyllis immediately starts pressuring and gaslighting the kid, trying to change his focus away from Jack to talk about all of Summer's big plans, just going over the top about how much Summer loves him, and basically completely ruining the fun Jack and Harrison were having by just bulldozing, distracting, and being extra. And then Phyllis makes these weird overtures to Jack after Harrison runs off to hunt little bugs. And she starts talking about how Harrison could be like the kid they never had. It was wackadoo. Is Phyllis about to be the 7th person in YNR to get a mental health storyline? Because something is going on with her. I don't know if this is standard bad behavior or she just needs a reality check. And Jack snapped and told Phyllis, too much time on your hands, stop messing around and trying to wreck Kyle's life. And of course, Jack is now going to double down to help fight against Summer. And that's just another way Phyllis is making things harder on her daughter. Number 3, Phyllis is attacking Diane at every turn, and that's going to turn out bad for Summer. She could be co-grandmas and coexisting with Diane. Harrison would love to have both his grannies spend time with him together, and that could happen if Summer would open her eyes and see what Phyllis is up to and shut it down. Basically, it seems to me like Jack and Diane being happy rubs Phyllis the wrong way, so she's encouraging Summer to steal their grandson. This week, when talking to Jack, Phyllis actually had the nerve to talk about trauma in Harrison's life, but it's Phyllis encouraging Summer to traumatize Harrison by yanking him away from Kyle and his grandparents and a loving step stable family home. Remember, Summer claims she started this custody stuff because Kyle decided to move out on his own, which was nonsense from the jump. And then Phyllis pushed her to complain about Audra as another excuse for trying to grab custody. And basically, Phyllis is pushing Summer to make one bad choice after another, and her daughter's falling for it. And not only is Summer going to be hurt, but Harris is going to be hurt if indeed the Abbotts are forced out of his life because of what Phyllis is doing. The fourth way Phyllis ruined Summer's life started a while back when she faked her own death. Remember, Diane brought this back up the other day. She called Phyllis out for standing there and watching Summer and Daniel grieve at her funeral. And then Phyllis pressured Summer to lie about her being alive. That is what broke up Kyle and Summer's happy marriage. If Phyllis hadn't faked her death or, not asked Summer to lie for her, then Harrison, Kyle, and Summer would be living at the Abbott mansion as a happy little family. That divorce and all the animosity you can just draw a straight line from that to Phyllis's illegal and sketchy actions. Fifth and finally, Phyllis is ruining Summer's life by pushing her into this pattern of behavior that's going to cost her everything, just as Phyllis has lost everything by her bad decisions. Phyllis doesn't have a job. She doesn't have a man in her life. Every time Daniel sees Phyllis, he actually doesn't want to talk to her because she continues to meddle. She's meddling this week by telling Lily that, she encouraged Heather to get with Daniel because they're fated, which is just going to cause more problems for Daniel. Phyllis is causing problems for both her kids. She is actively sabotaging them while in her mind thinking she's doing the right thing. And it's definite that Phyllis cost Summer her marriage. And the way this custody battle is heating up, I can't see how Kyle can lose in court. He's done nothing wrong, and he could call Summer and Phyllis onto the stand, and his lawyer could grill them about their lies and crimes because Summer was aiding and abetting Phyllis's fake death fraud. And not only was Summer engaged in criminal acts, but her action cost Harrison time with his other grandma, Diane, who was falsely imprisoned because of those two. And realistically, what can Summer accuse Kyle of in court? Working with someone she doesn't like? Planning to buy a house? That's nothing. Literally, not one thing I can think of Summer can say in court about him. Even him breaking up with her was her own fault. And you can see that clearly. The judge would be able to see it clearly. Right now, Claire's not even an issue because not only is she a Newman like Summer, but Summer has no issues with Claire being Harrison's nanny. So she can't really bring that up because she consented. And it seems lately like every episode we see Phyllis, she's doing her best to behave badly with whoever she interacts with, and she's encouraging Summer to do the same thing and behave badly. It's hard to imagine, but Phyllis just can't see that she's ruined her own life and is dragging Summer down that same path. If Summer doesn't shut her mother down and tell Phyllis butt out of her life, Summer may come out of this not having just lost her husband, but also access to Harrison. Let me know what you think. Are you team Summer and Phyllis, or are you team Kyle and Abbott on this issue? Will Summer let her mother further ruin her life? Drop your comments. Come back soon. We're talking Y&R all week long, and it's Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.